Well, we've seen so much incredible work on display tonight, but we have one more award. So for our final award this evening, the Martin Adler Prize, supported by the Embassy of Sweden, it's a special category judged by the trustees of the Rory Peck Trust. And it is a bit different from the other awards in that it specifically highlights the dedication and talent of local freelancers whose work with international media outlets has made a significant contribution to news gathering, either through a single story or a body of work. Now, Martin Adler was a renowned Swedish freelance camera operator and producer with a decade of experience in almost every conflict zone. He believed freelancers could make a difference. The Martin Adler Prize was inaugurated after his death in 2006, and it's now supported each year by the Embassy of Sweden. In a few moments, we'll reveal this year's winner. But before we do, let's find out more about the three finalists.
Yes. Our first finalist is Asil Musa, a freelance journalist from Gaza. Now, the judges described her work as demonstrating the highest standards of war reporting. In 6 months, she experienced what few journalists would face in a lifetime. They went on to praise her excellent, well-rounded, well-researched human stories during a time of conflict and commented on the incredible depth of her journalism. They said, somehow, Asil has managed to focus on telling the stories of others in a time of immense turmoil with beautiful clarity. Her pieces have been published in The Guardian and have been cited in US court documents.
Well, our second finalist for this award is Beryl Eski from Turkey, a trained corporate lawyer. She described searching for meaning in her profession, and this led her back to her early passion for writing and journalism. In her own words, she is a tenacious and determined journalist striving for accuracy and fairness. The judges commented that Beryl is one of the unsung heroes of the journalism world. She is meticulous in her research, and her ability to translate legalese and make it understandable is a gift. She's been integral to investigations that uncovered money trails and exposed wrongdoing. Beryl has a good eye for a story and works both collaboratively and independently across a wide range of genres.
And our third finalist in this category is Zacharias Zalalem from Ethiopia, whose work has contributed to a growing awareness of the humanitarian crisis and human suffering in Ethiopia's Amhara region. The judges commented that Zacharias works hard against a backdrop of despair in this region, highlighting a conflict that is underreported and rarely touched on in the international press. He uses open source intelligence and in-depth research for his stories, fighting a constant battle to share the conflict and the atrocities occurring in the wider world.
Well, all three are outstanding finalists from very different places around the world. So to tell us who has won this award, please give a very warm welcome to His Excellency Stefan Gulgren, Ambassador of Sweden.
Good evening, everyone. I realize that I stand in a very dangerous place between you and the reception. But I hope that you will allow me a few general remarks before I reveal the winner of the Martin Adler Prize this year. First of all, I'd like to express how grateful we are to the Rory Peck Trust for this privilege and the opportunity to express the Embassy of Sweden's high value of the partnership with the Rory Peck Trust and our association with the Martin Adler Prize. We live in a world of incredible opportunities. Thanks to innovations such as the internet, the phenomenon that we call globalization, the world has become smaller. We can easily communicate with almost anyone on the planet at any moment. We have immediate access to information, true or false, about almost anything. We can follow events in real time, all the time, if we so wish. We move frequently and routinely across borders and continents as never before. But it is also a world full of challenges. Since the world has become smaller, events which are local by region can have consequences which reach far beyond regional or national borders. We all remember the pandemic and how it affected us. War and conflict are not new to human existence, but even when they flare up far away, they tend to have a direct impact on us one way or the other. Add to that the fact that we live in an age of emotions. Anyone with a strong opinion on just about anything can easily express it through social media and thereby reach large numbers of people all over the world in a very short time. We can regret that the fervor with which such views are being expressed is not always combined with a sense of proportion and accountability. The deepening polarization of our societies may be both a cause and an effect of these factors. At any rate, it is a sad fact that we often tend to find it easier to disagree and find faults with each other than to see common ground and purpose through civilized talk based on mutual respect. The more important then that we keep an open space where views and opinions can meet and be challenged, and that we maintain strong safeguards for our right as free human beings to give expression to such views and opinions. Key among such rights is the freedom of expression and by implication the freedom of the media. We should know by now that this freedom can never be taken for granted. It needs to be defended every day and not just in high-sounding speeches like this one. Its importance stretches well beyond the right to spread information, express an opinion. Without the right to hold those in power to account and demand transparency on how and on what grounds decisions taken on our behalf are being made, the democratic system as we know it cannot hold and remain legitimate over time. This leads us to the Martin Adler Prize, which honors a local freelance journalist or field producer working in any medium whose work with international and domestic media outlets has made a significant contribution to the news gathering. Martin Adler was a renowned Swedish freelance camera operator and producer with a decade of experience in almost every conflict zone. He believed freelancers could make a difference. The Martin Adler Prize was inaugurated after his death in 2006. I wish to congratulate this year's finalists for the Martin Adler Prize, but as in any competition, in any award, there has to be a winner. And the winner of this year's Martin Adler Prize, according to the decision by the jury, is Adler Musa.
Please welcome Adler Musa to the stage.
Hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's actually overwhelming to stand in front of you after seeing so many scenes of the streets of Gaza and my colleagues who were killed and my colleagues who are still suffering. But here we go. First, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Rory Peck Trust for this recognition. Winning this prize is both an honor and a responsibility. I also extend my deepest thanks to The Guardian, whose nomination and support have made this moment possible. I would also like to thank Dr. Hussam Zomlot, the Palestinian ambassador to the UK. Your support always makes me feel stronger and feel home here in the UK. Tonight, I cannot stand here without addressing the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Since October 7th, my colleagues in Gaza have been targeting relentlessly. The Israeli occupation has killed 190 journalists in Gaza, silencing their voices and the stories they were so brave to tell. And for over 400 days, Gazans has endured unthinkable horrors and terrors, massacres, starvation, and displacement of over 2.3 Palestinians. Since the beginning of the genocide, Israel killed around 50,000 Palestinians, including over 17,000 children and 12,000 women. As a journalist, my own story is deeply tied to this reality. Israel uprooted my family and me from our home in Tel El Hawa neighborhood in Gaza. Much like it, uprooted my grandparents in 1948. When I reflect to this moment, actually my mind stops functioning, overwhelmed by the realization that Israel bombed my home, wiping out 25 years of memories, every corner, every detail, everything I lived in that house reduced to rubble. I reported it from Gaza while displaced myself, struggling to meet basic needs and mourning the loss of loved ones, including my dear cousins, Dr. Muhammad Abu Ghazza and Dr. Jabir Jouda, who were both killed by three Israeli missiles. And because our martyrs are not just numbers, and they are beautiful souls who once had dreams, please allow me to remember my colleague Mahmoud Nasri al-Naouq, who were killed along with his entire family in Deir al-Badah neighborhood in the middle of the Gaza Strip. Mahmoud always believed in my work and monitored my stories until he was killed. Just days before his death, his killing, Mahmoud had received a scholarship to study for a master's degree in international relations in Australia. Now, and instead of fulfilling his dreams, he lies in a grave. This fills me with a deep sense of guilt because I am pursuing the same course he dreamed of. I share these stories not to elicit sympathy, but because I believe that telling my people's stories became my only weapon against the silence imposed by their suffering. We Palestinians never give up on our homeland. We never surrender our identity, our history, or our dreams of liberation. They can bomb our homes, erase our cities, steal our souls, or silence our voices, but they will never destroy our will. We will resist with every breath, with every word, and with every story until Palestine is free from the river to the sea. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again to Asil. Now, please welcome to the stage our other outstanding finalists, Beryl and Zacharias.
Wow. It's very difficult to speak after Asil, but like, congratulations, I was rooting for you, and I'm so happy, like, you won this award. Yeah. But I'm incredibly happy and honored to be here with you all. It's very difficult to speak about the dangers against journalists in my home country, Turkey, while my colleagues in Gaza and Lebanon are risking their lives every day. Yet the barriers for local journalists, such as insufficient protection, low payment, and not being allowed to lead coverage, remain similar for us all. While international news organizations rely heavily on us, our work is often invisible and at times uncredited. We face greater risks as we continue to live in and report from our countries. Journalism is hard, demanding, and has never been more dangerous. But for some of us, it is still the best job. So I'd like to thank my supervisors for believing in me and my work. And I want to thank Rory Peck for this exceptional platform and moment to be seen, actually, and for recognizing my work and that of my colleagues, especially reporting from war zones. Thank you.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much to the Rory Peck Awards Committee and to the judges. It's an honor to be here. Honestly, it's an honor to lose to Asil, especially. I'd like to very briefly pay tribute to the sacrifice that Palestinian journalists and media workers are paying as they document a genocide in their homeland and the mass slaughter of their colleagues. I'm also here because I also documented mass slaughter in Ethiopia's northwestern Amhara region for much of the past 13, 14 months. Ethiopia's northwestern Amhara region has been the site of war between government and rebel fighters, a war that has turned the region into something of a testing ground for distributors and manufacturers of cheap drones. Hundreds, possibly thousands, have been killed in the country in drone strikes over the course of the past 4 years or so. And although not everyone here covers the East Africa region, or it might not be everyone's beat, I honestly urge everyone, at least those who work in human rights-related reporting, to look at the war in the Amhara region with greater scrutiny, because the warfare, and in particular the drone strikes, something being implemented thanks to deliveries from the likes of Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran, it's a model that can be exported to conflict zones well beyond East Africa, including in places that might be closer to home for some of you here. So what's being implemented there could definitely be exported elsewhere. So greater scrutiny on the conflict would be in the common good for all of us. I'd like to thank, well, above all, the main reason I'm here is because Amhara victims of state violence trusted me, opened up to me, shared their traumatic accounts of drone massacres, summary executions, and a host of other abuses that have taken place, the grand majority at the hands of Ethiopian state forces. And since something we've learned painfully over the course of the past year, victims in war should never be numbers. So I'm going to just mention the name of a young lecturer by the name of Limatu Amara, who was killed in the city of Debre Marcos by Ethiopian soldiers in August 2023. And days, if not maybe weeks later, I can't remember, his family members shared their painful testimony with me of the most traumatic moment in their life and enabled me to produce the reporting for the continent that I published weeks later. So I owe it to them, I owe it to the victims, I owe it to their family members, and unfortunately I can't name those family members because they're still at risk of reprisal attacks in a country where journalists cannot report on human rights. Over 200 have been arrested since 2019. And reporting on human rights atrocities is extremely complex due to continuous outages, internet outages, phone outages, forcing us to work or to become persona non grata in our countries and to work abroad, the way I mostly do. So I'm very grateful to the editing rooms of Al Jazeera, the Globe and Mail, and the Continent, who trusted in me, commissioned my work. Once again, to the victims, victims of state atrocities across Ethiopia's Amhara region. And to the judges, I think, did I mention them? No? Okay, well, sorry.
Don't worry about it, mate.
Okay. And to my mother, who put up for me with everything I had over the course of 30-something odd years. And to my journalistic inspirations, including Anna Politkovskaya, may she continue to rest in peace. All of our colleagues in Gaza, of course, and the likes of Salim Salamon, who I continue to emulate. This honor, finishing as a finalist, will spur me onwards. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all the finalists, and a big thank you to Ambassador Stefan Gulgren and to the Swedish Embassy for kindly supporting this prize again. Well, that is the end of the awards part of the evening, so a huge congratulations to all our winners and finalists, and thank you to our judges and our sponsors, Associated Press, Google News Initiative, Data Miner, the Embassy of Sweden and Sony. Without them, none of this would be possible.